Hey, 555ers, Andrew here. It's one of those late summer days where I'm feeling a little nostalgic, and we're going to do an editorial watch review today. I pulled out of storage my vintage Timex Triathlon, model number 50772 apparently, and it's on the band. It's an amazing Velcro, sort of NATO, sort of not NATO, mesh plastic band, and I got the watch up and running today, and I'm going to be just talking about it side by side with the Vero Workhorse. This is the Forest Service edition, and this is a very interesting hybrid mechanical movement. It's just 90s nostalgia, folks. That's what we're here for today. Talk a little bit about my first watch that I got, probably Big 5, I don't really remember. I remember going there thinking I want a watch that is going to be able to hold up to my active 20-something Californian lifestyle, where I'd be riding bikes and swimming in the ocean and going for runs. And I wanted a watch that had the date on it as well as the day, and I wanted a large display, and of course I needed Indiglow, which is amazing technology still from Timex. I also was glad to have some really basic chronograph features built into this Timex, and I wore this watch a lot. In fact, sort of ridiculous side story here. I remember getting my first ever compliment on a watch wearing this watch on a date. Girl was like, "I like your watch band." It didn't work out. And also recently I got a chance to take a look at a company I've never seen in the flesh. This is the Vero Workhorse, and this is in their Forest Service edition. Very interesting watch, comes with a 10-year no questions asked warranty, and comes on that kind of cloth Velcro nostalgic strap that I remembered so much about my old Timex. And in a lot of ways, this is meant to be the modern version of a do-everything watch that I was looking for back when I was looking for my Bill Clinton-esque Timex Triathlon. So we'll look at these watches a little bit side by side, talk about their similarities and differences, but we're also going to watch me get my old Timex Triathlon up and running, because I'm going to give it to my young son Roman. He unfortunately had his wing clipped recently when we were mountain biking, and he's looking for some fun things to do, and so I'm going to let him wear my Timex Triathlon, even though he can't read a watch yet. You know, these 4-year-olds, you know, they're just behind the times these days. So back in the 90s, early 2000s, there weren't a lot of ways to get NATO straps on watches. It wasn't like you could go and buy NATO straps over the counter. So there were products like this, the band, which is basically a plastic mesh with a Velcro strap sewn into it, that has the main feature that now is so sought after on NATO straps, namely that the spring bars each respectively hold on the strap, so that if one fails, you don't lose the watch head right away, which for anyone who's swimming, you just understand how much of a risk that is. If you can very easily lose a strap and not be able to recover the watch unless you have some kind of fail-safe like that. And of course it was just whimsical to get something with this kind of 90s type of pattern. You can just imagine me listening to Dave Matthews or something, Fish, in those years, and wearing a watch like this. I remember back in the day I cut this band short, even though it's supposed to come across here and strap here, because it made the watch too thick. I'd say this is, you know, probably 12 or 13 millimeters thick now, and with that single piece of plastic, it actually was not very comfortable at first. As you can see, it got filled with fuzz, and eventually that got a little softer. To be completely candid, the most fun part of making this video for me was getting this watch up and running again. And I filmed at least part of the project of me taking it apart and discovering that it still works with a fresh battery. So I'm just going to insert that footage here. You can listen to my kids chatter in the background and watch me kind of putz around in my shop in the basement. And if you're not interested, go ahead and scrub, but honestly, that's the part I'm going to remember from this video, is getting this watch running. So enjoy.
Dad?
Yep, that's the one I sometimes use. Yep.
Dad, I can do that. I'm not gonna get off on your head. I would push you down. I'm combing your hair.
Yeah, I did.
Have you ever met? Can I look at your night the sun and the knife. And I got on it.
Now right now I'm putting a battery in the watch I'm to let you play with.
Oh, Dad.
Yeah.
Can I look at your car?
My car.
Yeah. Well, you can. That Max up here. Dad. This is mine. I know. Do you want some in here? Put something in here. I only have some. I'll put something in. I want this one. Can. I want can. Can too? Yeah. Dad.
What?
Are they coming? You call it a fix? A fix one? And then crash one.
Uh-huh.
So it tastes like lemonade. I'm taking something. Okay. Oh, thank you. Actually, I'll go. Is it watch that the pen's not heavy. This woman. Look at. No, I can lift it. Don't do that. I can lift that up with one hand. Ow! Look at. I'm gonna sit on here. No, I ain't gonna eat it. That's too heavy. The 5 is way. It's not heavy. The 5 is not heavy. Can you please get down now? And get down in a second. Get down now. Yeah! Don't lift it back. That's heavy. No, this is not heavy. Feel it. This one hand, you can lift it up over your head. Hold it with one hand. Is that heavy? Yeah. What kind of? It's not heavy for me. Even when I'm 5, it wasn't heavy. A long time ago, I was 2. Don't lift that up. I was open it and I was Joe, this one, I think it's the heavy. Can't even lift it off the ground. And then there's one out here off the
Wow.
Joe. Okay, I'm going to take my coffee and I'm going to go. You can take some food.
Wow, everything is so small. Look. Did you see that?
Yeah?
What does that mean? It's working.
Yeah.
I gotta just put it together now and not break it. You wanna show it to me? Very cool. When you look at these watches side by side, it's obvious that they don't really share a lot in common in terms of their aesthetics, aside from the basic 90s nostalgia, especially with regard to the watch straps. With the Vero, you've got much more traditional field watch elements. Of course, you've got that internal bezel. You also have this interesting button here to check for the power reserve. And with that Mecha Quartz movement, you can see how it is holding up. Should never need to replace a battery or anything of the sort in this watch. Its energy is stored in a capacitor. Now the Triathlon here does need a new battery. It's a very common battery, as you'll see, and the work of replacing it was normally something that you would just take to a Kmart or something back in the day because it required very tiny tools. But if you're patient and careful, it isn't hard to change a battery on these things. So kind of on paper, these watches have nothing in common except the intangible connection to 90s era athletic watches and field watches that both of these watches would have served had you had the choice in the 90s. And for someone who loves these kind of watches, these Timexes, going to a Vero is really a nice nostalgic take for someone who still wants that durable style, but maybe wants something a little bit higher quality in its build compared to getting a modern Timex field watch. All right, let's talk a little bit about this Vero Workhorse, a very cool watch that in some ways inspired me to pull out my old Timex and get it running. So this watch comes in at 39 millimeters. It's got a 12.5 inch case height, 45.25 lug to lug width, and this is an 18 millimeter strap width, but of course, as you can see, it's a two-part construction, not unlike the one on my Timex that really widens up more to 20 millimeters. The thing that's really unique about this watch is it's of course a nostalgic take on that 90s style, but it's built to modern boutique watch specifications. And so that's nice because, for example, you have on this watch a power reserve button for the Seiko PX28A kinetic movement. And that is a very nice movement that functions in a way like an automatic movement, where the rotor actually charges the capacitor that's stored in the movement of the watch. And that means that you're not having to worry about batteries like you were on your old Timexes. The case itself is very fancy too. It's got 120 meters of water resistant screw down crowns. This is an AR coated sapphire crystal. I think it's just on the inside of the crystal. It's a flat crystal. And this is a Cerakoted case, specifically in the Forest Service colors. One department of the federal government that maybe isn't so bad. I don't know about that. But you've got super luminova on the hands, dials, and numerals. And you've got these big, what they call bull horns. Again, a nod to sort of 90s style, just protecting this watch, which has a 10-year warranty. So basically, this watch is something you should treat like it's indestructible, because they're going to take care of you no matter what. Vero's coming out with some beautiful dive watch designs. This watch is definitely just leaning heavily into that chunky 90s kind of Jurassic Park Ford Explorer, early 2000s vibe, and I really enjoy it. And it is very comfortable to wear as well, with this very nice Velcro strap. The strap itself seems to be of excellent quality, great stitching all around. And I expect that you could pull this watch out of the box and wear it nonstop for a decade and have no problems. So as I wrap up the video, my thoughts are really just very positive. I'm thrilled to get an old watch running again. As crazy as it seems that this is where things got started for me, and as goofy as this watch looks, it still is comfortable, and I still see the rationale for why I got it. And it's also exciting to see that there are companies like Vero, boutique brand, that is really coming to the market with something totally unique and tapping into the kind of vibe that I would have prioritized back in the day. And I think that the main difference between these two is this watch is disposable, and it happens to still run with a new battery 20 years after I put it away. And this watch will never stop running and lasts as long as you can wear it, and if you wear it out, they'll replace it. So for that, I think is a really compelling, interesting buy. There's a ton of different colorways and styles for the watch, and that's one of the things that I like about it. So anyway, I definitely encourage you to check out Vero watches, and in particular the Workhorse was a very fun watch to check out. Guys, I want to just mention that this watch I got from Vero is just a loaner. They just sent it to me for review, and I have to send it back to them. So there was no money exchanged for this review. It's just me just checking out a watch that I thought looked cool. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave me a thumbs up. And as always, guys, I really enjoy you tuning in to 555 Gear. Let me know what your first watch was, if you still got it around. And I would love to hear from you in the comments below. Have a good one.